Hi there, crafty friends. Welcome and thank you for joining me. My name is Melissa Miller. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Southern California, and today I thought we would make a couple wedding cards. Graduation season is officially over and we are on to wedding season, and I need a couple cards. We've already been invited to a couple weddings this summer, and I wanted to have my cards ready. So we will be using the Cottage Rose Stamp Set, and I just love these. These flowers are so pretty, and then you've got some really nice sentiments in there. And we've also got the Cottage Flower Dies. This is an 8-piece die set, and we will be using the leaf image. We will be using the larger outline, which will cut out our image here. And then also I wanted to show you on this larger die, if you set these up in your Stamparatus just right, you can cut out this one, the medium flower, and then the 3 flowers here. I think there it is. You can cut out the 3 flowers, and you could do those in one swipe if you get them set up properly. We will also be using those items are in our annual catalog. We will also be using the Love and Happiness stamp set, which is just really nice. It's got an anniversary sentiment, an engaged sentiment, for my husband, for my wife, wedding wishes, just everything having to do with love. And this stamp set is in our January through June spring mini catalog, which is retiring June 30th. So if you want to get that stamp set, you'll need to order before June 30th. Now on that note, today is Sunday, June 19th, and on Tuesday, June 21st, we are having a free shipping day. So anything you order on Tuesday, June 21st, $75 or more, after taxes, you get free shipping. So it's a really nice time to stock up on the heavy stuff, like your card stock or any other items that have been on your wish list that might be retiring. And then another little tidbit here is we do have our holiday catalog starting July 1st. And this will actually go until January 4th. I know it says December, but it's good until January 4th. And with the mini holiday catalog, we have a celebration starting. Celebration is July 1st through August 31st. So for every $50 or $100 you spend from either the mini catalog or the annual catalog, you can choose a free item. So you can get lots of really neat things out of there. I can't wait for everybody to see it. I can't show it to you yet, but my regular customers should be receiving their catalogs in the mail any day. If you need a catalog, please send me an email to handmadehugsbymelissa@gmail.com, and I can get one of those out to you. So let's go ahead and get started. I think we are going to make the gold card just because it will show up a little bit better on the video, and this is just so pretty. It is so elegant. I love that. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with our stamping in our heat embossing. This is all heat embossed, and it's really, really simple. So I've got my stamps set up in my Stamparatus, and we are going to take a half sheet of paper here, and you'll see why I am using a full half sheet, because we need to do a couple extra of those little leaves, and we're going to do those over here after we stamp our first set of images. So we're going to be bringing in our Versamark. We're going to make sure that we get these stamps nice and inked up. The Versamark is our sticky ink that the embossing powder will stick to, so we can heat it up. So we just want to get a nice, good coating of this sticky ink on there. And you know what else I need to show you? This is brand new also. We're going to be using this. This is our new embossing toolkit. And in this kit, you get an embossing buddy. You get your reversible tweezers for holding the smaller pieces of paper so you don't burn your hand. And then you get a little brush so you can brush away any embossing powder that lands where you don't want it. So let's bring in our embossing buddy. And I'm just going to put a little bit of powder on here just so we don't get embossing powder where we don't want it. We're going to continue to ink up our images here. And let's give it a shot and see what happens. Now I'm only going to ink this up once, or actually stamp it once, because I like the finer image. The more ink we add, the thicker that our embossing powder will be. And I want to try to keep that nice and thin so we can really see that image. So let's make sure that's pushed down all over. We get a good impression. And we are going to take off the leaf because we need 3 more leaves. We need 4 in total. So I'm going to put that on my block there. We're going to pull this out of here and then set this aside. We will bring in our new handy dandy tray. And we are going to use our gold embossing powder. Now, I just love Stampin'Up's embossing powder because when you heat it up, it is so shiny. So we're just going to make sure we get all our images covered. For some reason, that one didn't stamp very well, but that's okay. You know what? We will just do another one. That happens sometimes. There we go. And see how we got a little bit of extra powder there that we don't want? We can just take our little brush and wipe that off. A piece of paper. And we can just wipe that off. We're going to redo that image there though. So let's go ahead and heat emboss. All right, there we go. We've got all our images heat embossed. I'm not real sure why that flower didn't stamp very well in my Stamparatus, but we were able to do another one and fit it on our paper here. So now that we've got our little tool here all loaded up with our embossing powder, we can take the little cap off and then just very easily get it all back in our little bottle so we don't spill it everywhere. I just love this. This is so cool. This is a really nice little tool kit. And then if you still have some in there that kind of stuck, you can just brush it down and then tap it into that bottle, just like that. We can set that off to the side for now. We're all done there. And like I said, I just love Stampin' Up's gold and silver embossing powders because they are so shiny once you heat them up. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to go ahead and go over and cut all these images out, and I will be right back. Okay, so I've got all of my images die cut. You know what? I think that took me all of 4 minutes. I mean, I'm going to cut that part out while I was gone, but seriously, I think it took me maybe 4 minutes to cut all these images out. The hardest part is just lining them up and making sure that you get your die on there straight. So we are also going to be bringing in our frame die. I did 4 of these and I stacked it like I showed you in a previous video. I've got a piece of our brushed metallic cardstock, and this is cut to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 because this is going to be our layering piece. Then we will also be using our stitched greenery die, but I wanted to show you what I did here. Now, because the stitched greenery die, it leaves a really deep impression. I'm hoping you can see that. And you can see where it almost cuts through to the back, but it doesn't. I wanted a little bit of a softer detail. So what I did was I took my stitched greenery die and I took an embossing mat. Now, Stampin' Up! Does not carry the embossing mat, but you can get this at any craft store. And I just took my cardstock and I placed it on there just like that. I'm trying to find there it is. I placed it on there just like that, and then I put it on the embossing mat. And so it's going to give me a little bit more of a dainty impression. I have my base plate and then my other cutting plate on top, and I just ran that through my die cutting machine, and it gave me a little bit more of a delicate impression. I think you can see those two images together. It's just a more delicate impression. And if you look at the back, you can see it did not almost cut through. It just gave me the impression. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to use that. And I cut this piece to 4 5 1/4. Let's go ahead and add our frame next. And for my brushed metallic, my foil here, I cut the middle out. That way I have that piece to use on something else because nobody will know that it's missing. I love that little trick. We want to try to save our foil as much as we can and use it wisely so we don't waste it. Because it's kind of a waste to have that piece, you know, use the whole piece where we could cut that middle out and save it for something else. So let's add our frame here. And we're just going to center that. Get it nice and centered. I do need to pull it down a little bit just so I can see. There we go. Just hold it for a second and that should be good. And I did get a little glue on there, so I'm going to take my adhesive eraser and get that right off. There we go. All right. Perfect. So let's go ahead and add this to our foil. But what I like to do when I use foil is I use our tear and tape because I don't want the glue to seep out onto my foil and leave a sticky, gooey mess. So I'm just going to add tear and tape to the back of this. And I know I've shown this trick before, but it is so easy. We're just going to put it on the edges here and just add that. Okay, and then what I do is I just peel up the corners and fold them over. I don't want to take off the entire backing yet because I want to make sure that I get that placed perfectly on the foil piece. So we're just going to do our corners, fold over that release paper just like that, and then we can bring in our foil. We're going to place it on there. And then once we have it placed how we want it, we can push those corners down and they will hold. So push those corners down. Then we will pull out our release paper and this will be placed perfectly right where we want it. And we don't have to worry about the glue seeping through. So that's perfect. Now what we're going to do is we're going to figure out where we want our flowers. And so on my first one, my very first sample that I worked on last night, I had it more of a portrait orientation. And that didn't leave me a whole lot of room for my sentiment. So that's when I switched to the landscape orientation. And I liked that a lot better. So that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to figure out where we want our images. We're going to put our leaves around here. And then we'll put our smaller flower up here along with our leaves. And just kind of see how we like it, what we like best. So let's go ahead and glue these on. I like that larger flower there, so we're going to just add a little bit of glue to our leaves here and place those. Just like that. And that'll hold nicely. Just give it a second. Do our other leaf here. And when you look at it, just kind of look at it, you'll be able to see where you need to put the glue. And we're just going to place that one down there. And then this one will go down here. And I think we're going to bring in some of our dimensionals now. And just put a couple little dimensionals behind the flower part. I think right there is good. And then another one right here. And then we can glue that down. So we're going to look at it, and we know that we need to glue here and here. So we can flip it over, add our glue, take the backings off of our dimensionals so they stick, and then just place that there. And our dimensionals are going to also help this piece stick. So that's perfect. And then we're going to do the same with our smaller flower. Now what I did is I actually did cut the ends of the stems off here because I didn't want too much bulk under there. So let's just take another look. We can add that right there. I think that's perfect. So we'll put a little glue here. And this is pretty simple. It is just a little time consuming. So let's see. I think right there is good. And we don't want it to hang over too much because it does still have to go in our envelope. So that's good. Then we'll bring in our other set of leaves just like that. Get some glue back there. Perfect. And now we will add our flower. And again, just like on our larger flower, we can just look at it and see where our frame is to where we need to add the glue. Just place that there. Give it a little hold. Just like that. And we can put the cover back on our glue. And I am going to bring in some dimensionals. What we're going to do is we're going to cut these in half because I don't want to use a whole one. So I'm going to cut these in half. Take the backing off. It's really not that difficult. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time. There we go. Take the backing off, and we're just going to add these underneath the leaves. Right there on that leaf. And on this leaf. Just kind of lift it up, and you can place it right underneath there. And then I think we'll do the same here and here. So let's cut another one in half. I will have all items listed and linked to my store in the description below. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Please leave a comment. YouTube absolutely loves comments. And one more. There we go. We can put that one right here under that leaf. And that's good. Now we are going to bring in our sentiment. And I'm just going to trim this down. I'm going to bring in my little trimmer here. And then we'll do the other side. There we go. I think that's good. And then what I like to do, because I need a strip here, I don't want to actually use a whole dimensional. I'm just going to cut right off of the edge. Don't waste any of your dimensional sheet. So we're going to see how that fits. And we will just place that on there. Perfect. And then we need to place our sentiment. So I have a crooked eye. I really do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my T-ruler, try to get that straight on my paper here. See if, oh, I can't get it underneath there. Darn it, let's do it this way. There we go. And I'm going to bring in my tweezers. These are handy little things. I'm going to bring in my reverse tweezers from my embossing toolkit, just so I can hang on to that. And we are going to place that. I think that looks pretty good. I'm not right on top of it, so I can't see for sure, but I think that's good. There we go. Now we can put this on our card base and then add our embellishments. And again, you can see that I've got my frame for my brushed metallic foil, and nobody knows the wiser that the middle is missing out of there. There we go. Oh, you know what I did forget though? Darn it. Darn it. Let's do our sentiment first. So we've got our card base. Let's bring back in our Stamparatus. See, this is how it always goes. Not just in real life, but also in videos. And I don't want to cut it out because it does happen. So I got my sentiment all lined up in my Stamparatus. And for my sentiment on the gold card, I used soft suede. I didn't want to use black just because I thought it was a little too harsh. And I want to keep the card nice and delicate. And when you're doing sentiments like this that have the very fine font, you want to be really gentle when pressing that down. So we've got our sentiment on there. And again, for the gold, I used soft suede. And then for the silver embossing, I used our basic gray for the sentiment in there. And it just looks really nice. So now we can add this on here. And our glue is still wet, so we're good. Just place that on there, just like that. You can move it around a little bit if you need to, because we did use liquid glue. And I think that's perfect. Just push that down. Let's get this closed so I don't stick my hand in it like I've done numerous times. Here we go. Bring in our bone folder. Just give that a nice little crease. And then we're going to bring in our embellishments. So my embellishments are out of the brand new catalog that starts July 1st. So I can't link to these yet, but they are in the new catalog. They are our red and green adhesive backed pearls. And you've got your red and green, but you've also got silver and gold. And I just love these. They are so shiny. So what we're going to do is just place some of these randomly. Get these on here wherever you think they look pretty. I'm just kind of sticking to my sample, to the way I have my sample laid out. And we're going to, sorry about that, we're going to go with odds. I'm a little tongue-tied today. So we're going to place 5. There we go. Isn't that pretty? That's so pretty. And our recipient is just going to love that. You two have something really special. Each other, congratulations. So that's it for me today. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please leave a comment. And I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.